Frauenschar because that's going to really help us. But then we can add in more details to
Yeah.
make it our own.
Definitely. So with Omar, he'd always been wishing to achieve something. So I think with Olive, she needs to be dreaming of something.
Yeah, so I thought when we were planning this, I thought her goal in life could be to win the Olympics.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And I thought about gymnastics, because then we can use different areas, because in the beginning of Frauenschar, it listed what Omar had imagined. So
Yeah.
he imagined that he beat the Joker, that he
Played
football.
for football, yeah, played for his
Manchester-
favourite football team, Manchester United. So
How can we put that into our own writing? So I thought, a bit like you, that we could talk about Olive's dreams. So she just hasn't had one dream.
no,
I think this is her life ambition.
definitely. So it's big, isn't it? So she's always dreamt of it, of winning the Olympics, not just going there. She's dreaming big. She wants to win
gold.
Definitely, that
Okay.
gold medal. So starting with Olive's name to introduce the character.
I think so. We can always introduce the character, give a bit of detail about her, because that's a year 5 and 6 objective, is to be able to describe the setting and the character well.
And past tense.
Past tense. We are writing our story in past tense. So I want you to have a go at doing that too. Okay? And we are writing in third person. We're not writing in first person, sorry.
So Olive had always dreamt of
Not going, we said winning.
winning. The Olympics. The Olympics is an event, isn't it?
Does that mean it's a name of something?
Proper noun.
Proper nouns need a capital letter, okay? So just double check with yourself. Does my name, if I'm using an event, does it need a capital letter? Is it a proper noun? So let's just check. Olive had always dreamt of winning the Olympics. That's a good dream for her to have. Now, I think we can magnify a bit from Frauenschar's.
Yeah.
Because if she's dreamt of it, she's not just dreaming when she goes to bed.
Daydreaming.
Daydreaming.
So that's what Omar was doing. So she could be doing the same, couldn't she?
We don't have to create all of our new ideas. That's the idea of our text, isn't it? So
In her daydreams.
Yeah, in her daydream.
changing that pronoun to make sure it fits the character.
Yeah, we don't want to get confused and write him or his because she's not a boy.
And that's a sentence opener.
Oh, so we need a comma.
There we go. So, in her daydreams. So let's link then to her gymnastics. So thinking of some of the things in gymnastics that she'd be using. So she'd have the pommel horses.
Yeah, so instead of, we know that people vault over pommel horses, that those big things, we've got one in the hall, haven't we? So, pommel, so you're going to vault it, so you vault, you're jumping into the air. Oh, sailed.
That effortless then, isn't
Yeah.
it? It shows that she's got the potential to win because it's so effortless for her to do it.
Yeah, it's easy for her.
She sailed, again past tense verb with that ed suffix on the end.
So I think we should list the ideas.
Oh, so I need a comma for a listen. So she sailed over pommel horses.
I think they do the balance beam, that's quite. So how she walked on
They twirl along, they
twirl, dance, flip. Oh,
Yeah.
that's impressive. That's better than danced because I can't flip.
I don't think she's a gymnast, isn't it? I
Yeah,
don't
so
think
it
we'll
shows
see
her
us
skills. No,
Flipped along because it's quite a long item, isn't it?
it is.
So,
Along.
oh, can I fit balance in
I
there?
think you can. Remember, we need to write to the edge of our pages. Some of us are leaving a bit of a big gap there, okay? Don't leave the space right to the end of your page if you can fit it in. So, she sailed over pommel horses, flipped along balance beams. Floor routines, they
Yeah.
dance.
I reckon she's pretty good. I reckon she wins them.
Oh, what about winning everyone she does?
Oh, yeah. She's, very good, isn't she?
Because
So,
then,
one as past tense.
yeah. Then it kind of changes it from winning a bit, doesn't it? Because And it's a special trophy because I think maybe you could put in an important person like the Queen.
Oh.
I think she might have been awarded
Mhm.
a trophy from the Queen. Now, I don't think it's any trophy.
It's not small, is it?
I'm thinking Olive's probably about 10 years old. I'm thinking a trophy about this big. So maybe she's quite a small child.
Yeah.
So maybe it might be bigger than her or as big
Or
as.
as big as her. Oh, a simile.
Okay. So
Won the Florentines at every competition she entered and had been
awarded.
lots of past tense suffixes shown throughout this, isn't it?
Yeah, so you need to check your spelling that you're putting the ed suffix on the end of your root words to make them past tense.
So awarded a trophy as big as herself.
As big as herself. We'll have to proofread and make sure it makes sense.
And we said from the Queen.
From the Queen.
What does the Queen need?
It's her name, it's her job role. She needs a capital letter, proper noun. Okay. Olive had always dreamt of winning the Olympics. In her daydreams, she sailed over pommel horses, flipped along balance beams, won floor routines at every competition she entered, and had been awarded a trophy as big as herself from the Queen. Wow, that builds a picture of Oliver. We haven't said Olive has brown hair, she has blue eyes, because that doesn't add to our story. We need to add details, describe the character in the context of our story. Okay? We're bigging her up a bit, aren't we?
She's got fantastic dreams, but do you think that her life's as exciting as she imagines?
No, but I don't want to use the same. I want to use an idiom
Yes.
because we learned about that. But I don't want just to copy it. But we use this. So found shards. It's dull as a dishcloth.
Yeah. What could be, because that suggests it's boring. So what else suggests, what's a boring thing to do?
I know because I've been trying to do it. Painting. I've been trying to paint my spare room, and watching it dry is so boring.
Yeah. So as fun as watching paint dry,
Yeah.
which suggests it's not very fun and incredibly boring.
And I can assure you that.
So far though,
So far, though. And I think she's been trying to make it exciting. She's trying her best to live out her dream. She's putting in the effort of trying to be a gymnast, but it's just not paid off yet because, again, she's only 10.
so far though, comma for my sentence opener. Despite her best efforts,
Her life was about as fun as watching paint dry. Almost puts you to sleep.
it does, doesn't it?
But we don't want to put the readers to sleep, so we kind of need to reassure them. A bit like found a shard. And I think we can magpie that sentence. I think we can say, what she didn't know was her life was about to change. Now I've not capped all the words there. I've kind of made them my own. I've summarised them a little bit. What she didn't know was that her life was about to change.
So that's our first paragraph. Obviously, it's not the whole of the opening, but it's our first paragraph.
It
Should
is.
we read through that as it is?
Yeah.
So, Olive had always dreamt of winning the Olympics. In her daydreams, she sailed over pommel horses, flipped along balance beams, won floor routines at every competition she entered, and had been awarded a trophy as big as herself from the Queen. So far, though, despite her best efforts, her life was about as fun as watching paint dry. What she didn't know was that her life was about to change.
Ooh, good paragraph. I think we could change the subject a little bit and start a new paragraph. How do we show new paragraphs?
Oh, so I'm going to start a new line.
So even
And even leave a line. I won't leave a big space on the board because we might run out of space in a minute for our next paragraph, but you You could also indent your writing a little bit for that first word that's written.
Up to you.
So I might do that here to show it's our new paragraph.
Okay. So I think comparison is a good way to start because we're doing tell of fear. We want it to seem normal, ticking along nicely, then all of a sudden starts going a bit dark. Okay, we start making the reader feel a bit of fear. So, a day like no other?
Yeah.
Ordinary day? So it was a day like any other. So it's just normal, boring, watching paint dry. She goes to gymnastics. She might be going to school every day. She does her homework. She might go on the computer for a bit, but it's nothing really that exciting.
Yeah, so she was on her way home.
Yeah, from gymnastics.
So it's a day like any other. Olive was, past tense verb.
She's on her way home. It's a day like any other, but again, we want to start making it a bit scary.
Weather. Weather, yeah, that does suggest. So I don't think it's going to be a nice sunny day, is it?
No.
The clouds, dark clouds.
Dark clouds began to gather overhead because then they're starting together. We haven't made it pour yet. We haven't made a storm brew. They're just gathering. So in the backs of our mind, we know it's getting a bit darker. Okay, we know it's getting a bit more. Ooh. Bit scarier because actually scary things happen more so in the dark. If it's bright daylight, it's not that scary. So, it's a day like any other. Olive was on her way home from gymnastics when clouds began to gather overhead.
So if it's getting dark, I've got automatic lights in my car.
Also, they just ping on.
They just ping on. As soon as they sense that it's got dark, my
Okay.
headlights in my car come on.
So, cars that are passing, their headlights flicker on. Well, they might light up the roads.
Yeah. And car headlights, being specific vocabulary to what I'm talking about. And car headlights, again, past tense.
Now, in our boxing up, we said we need to introduce something that she's scared of. Okay, so I think this is the perfect time to just introduce the idea, not to describe it, because I think
No.
that comes up in our build-up.
Yeah.
I think we introduce what she's scared of to the reader. Okay, so I think again our title, Row Station, it's of that disused railway station. If you're still not sure what disused means, go and get a dictionary, have a look. Okay, so
Anything that's disused and abandoned, it's got an eerie, spooky feel as you walk past. So I can imagine that is what she's going to be scared of.
no, I know it's disused, but I still think there's some kind of security there. So some workmen might still be there in the daytime because they might need to.
something.
Yeah, because
Maintenance.
we have one by my parents' house and they fix up all the carriages there. So although it's a disused station, they use it there to store the trains, to make them better. So work still happens there, but it's
But
not
passengers don't go
so
there.
there's
for a
not as
train.
many people. Okay, so it's quite isolated. So when I'm scared of things, I start walking a bit faster. She's walking home, so maybe her pace might begin to quicken.
Yeah. Olives. And I'm talking about her pace.
So how quick she walks.
So, I'm going to use an apostrophe for possession in there.
Oh, because the speed that she's walking belongs to her.
Yep.
Okay.
So, Olive's pace began
Oh, past tense.
to quicken.
And I think we need to explain to the reader why, because that kind of tells us what she's scared of. Olive's pace began to quicken. She'd never liked walking past the disused train station. And today was no exception. It's getting dark, there's clouds, so she's still got that feeling in the pit of her stomach. She doesn't like it. There's an eerie feel. she's not comfortable. We need to portray that to the reader. I can't put all that detail in, so that's where my word choices come in. I need to choose my words carefully, so although I don't go, she was scared because of this, because of this, because of this, I'm not telling the reader. I want them to try and speculate, try and think behind the scenes, why might she be scared? Did something bad happen there? Or has she heard some spooky stories about it? We want the reader to make those assumptions themselves. It was a day. Oh, Miss Bailey. It was a like any other. Oh, you've missed a word.
It was a day.
Okay, let's try again.
Here we go.
It was a day like any other. Olive was on her way home from gymnastics when clouds began to gather overhead and car headlights started to light up the roads. Olive's pace began to quicken. She'd never liked walking past the disused train station, and today was no exception. Oh, it's not as scary as I want it to be. I want to put one more short sentence in.
Her body's going to have a reaction to her fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, a chill.
Sure, yeah. We don't want to put she feels sick at the moment, because if you're feeling sick,
Where did you
You
get a
know, what
chill
part?
down your spine?
oh
don't
yeah.
you?
So yeah, let's
So
do
a
that.
chill ran down her spine.
Well, that's nice, short, sharp, and then I think we should leave it at that. So what other things could happen to my body? Or your canvas body? I think that's a good opening.
Mm.
Now, I don't want them to get confused that they can only write one paragraph
No.
for an opening. The boxing up gathers your ideas. You still need to separate your ideas into paragraphs, okay? So, what skills have we used in our writing today?
We've used a lot of skills, haven't we? We've used a lot of punctuation in there.
Yeah, we've got range.
So we've got range punctuation. We have started to build that suspense and that fear by using short sentences, by talking about how the character's feeling. We've used contrast. So we've used a lot, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got weather. We've got an idiom.
Yes.
Gosh, we've
Got
got
a simile in there as well. So we've used a lot of our language techniques that we are used to writing in just a couple of paragraphs.
So if we can do it, I think they can do it.
I think they can do a better job than us as well.
We've stuck quite closely to Fowler's Yard. I wonder if they will.
And I'm really interested to read what they come up with, because I think this is one of the most interesting units we've done so far this year. We've done a lot of suspense, but this one I think is just so exciting. I think the fear element with this, I think, gives a lot of scope for them to be really imaginative with character, setting, and what's going to happen.
I just think these types of stories are the most fun to write.
Definitely.
And we don't want to just scrape it by and just write the bare minimum. We really want to add in that detail. We can really show off how incredible we are at writing.
So pausing, going back through it, have we got commas for list? We can list our ideas. We can think about adding all of those skills and going back and adding them in. Just rereading it. Because your mind gets ahead of itself when you're writing, because you know what you're trying. I made a mistake by missing out a word, and it wasn't until we read it back that we noticed that.
So, what we're going to do, you've watched us have a go. We're going to take a photo so you can look at it down below, because it might be a bit tricky to read from where you are. That's okay. Have a look at our picture as well. Okay? So, look at the text. Think about all those tools that we've just spoken about. Remember your everyday, always toolkits. Okay? Your capital letters, your full stops, your beautiful joined up writing. Okay? I want to see you all still trying your best with your writing, okay? Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I don't think so. I think just a sort of reminder for these capital letters only at start of sentences or for proper nouns. I'm getting a few sort of pieces of working with a few extras, lots of J's with extra capital letters, and I think people are just not checking carefully enough.
But soon, I really want to, at the beginning of the next lesson, read out some of their examples, because we do that in class and they can magnify ideas.
Perhaps we could add it to our welcome video. We could start celebrating the success of the writing writing that's coming in.
What a great idea. So, I've already had a few I really want to read out. I've had some great ones from Leicester and Antonia. They have written some great ones.
I've got some brilliant ones from Molly. I've had Summers. They're really good. High quality, range punctuation. So I'm almost, we're going to have to start celebrating.
Oh,
Send us in some brilliant ones and see if yours is chosen.
can't wait to see them.